So as a real estate agent, I often get asked about special programs for first-time home buyers. And the problem with them is you have to have a loan officer who really knows the program and can deliver the goods, not just to get you the loan, but to sell the loan, the listing agent that they know what they're doing. I recently came across a loan officer who's done these loans in the city of Los Angeles, the MIPA loan program specifically. And I was sent two examples that she had performed on. I said, wow, this is not just another loan officer. This is somebody who really knows his material. So I was really excited to talk on my transaction and to get it into escrow, Mercedes Maldonado. I'm glad to share with her today. Mercedes, thank you so much for being on today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Give me a little background. You're a loan officer and you are with Equity Smart Home Loans. Tell me about Equity Smart Home Loans.
Equity Smart Home Loans, we're a brokerage. I've been with them for, say, maybe 7-8 months.
Okay.
Prior to that, I was with direct lenders. Been in the business for 32 years, so finally decided way back in the time, before 2008, I did have my own brokerage. In 2019, I went to Wells Fargo, and since then I was working with direct lenders. And finally, in October, I decided just to go back with a broker, and I'm really enjoying Equity Smart Home Loans. We're approved with over 125 lenders out there, and do a lot of my stuff with United Wholesale Mortgage.
So they're one of the wholesalers that you send packages to sometimes. So tell me about, and it's hard to believe you've been in business 32 years. It's hard to believe that you're that old, that you could be that. I guess you started when you were 6 years old in the business.
Yeah, I'm a little over 29.
A little bit, okay. So tell me, so specifically we're talking about the MIPA program. Tell me about specifically the home loan program for middle income here in the city of Los Angeles.
So the MIPA program offers up to $115,000 for first-time home buyers that meet the income guidelines. There's certain, how can I tell you? It depends on the family size and the income, and the tiers are $90,000 or $115,000. They have to be first-time home buyers, 660 FICO score. They do have to have at least 1% of their own money. Meaning it cannot come in as a gift. It has to be saved from their own, their income, or we have to provide proof that it was their funds that we're using for that 1% down.
So you covered a few things. The good news is there's a link online to the Los Angeles Housing Department. I'll put the link in our description that covers some of this. And so it's a first-time home buyer who's not had home ownership in the last 3 years. So first-time home buyer could have owned a home 5 years ago or sold it 5 years ago, but not in the last 3 years is the definition, correct?
Correct. Yes, okay. Correct.
And U.S. citizens, resident aliens, or other qualified aliens, green card, I guess, would be acceptable.
Yes, green card. There is some asylums. So usually when they don't have the green card or citizenship, I ask people to send me their work permit, and then I check on my list to see if they are eligible for the program. So, some do qualify.
FICO score 660, that's a pretty flexible score for a person getting in with 1% down.
Very, very flexible, yes. And we can go FHA or we can go conventional.
Okay, and so what happens is there's a loan in front of you, this that's done, and then the MIPA portion is deducted from the purchase price. So if we had a $500,000, let's say our purchase price $500,000, the $110,000 would come off of that. They put 1% down, so they only need $390, $385 would be the first mortgage, and then the MIPA in second position, and then they're 5% down. So they're 1% down, which would be $5,000 in that case. So you're talking about, so the first mortgage could be, in that case, $385 and $500,000. That's less than, it's like an 80% loan to value. So that's going to be underwritten a little easier than, I guess, than a 95% or 97% loan.
Definitely, yes. I always do my calculation, try to avoid the PMI. And so the 1% and the funds from the city, it's a calculation, and it goes, for the down payment and closing cost.
And then for the households, the income requirements, they can make up to And it looks to me like if you have, say, two family members, you can make up to
A hundred.
$124,000. That
Mhm.
sound right?
I believe it's 121,000. I don't have it in front of me, but
Okay.
121,000 for the 115.
Okay. To qualify for a loan that might be 385, so that's going to fit in that number pretty comfortably. So
Yes.
the hard part about this is, as a listing agent, I get offers all the time with this program, and then I ask the loan officer if they've done one, and they don't even know there's a website. When I talk to your loan officer, when I talk to your real estate agent, he had done a couple with you or knew you had done a couple, sent me the property addresses, public records showed those loans. The MLS showed the time on market. You had done them both in about 45 days. How long are these taking you to do generally?
They do take about 45 days.
But
And I
not
always
60,
tell,
not 90.
no, no. Um, I've been doing this loan for about 7 years, and I try to put it as try to follow the city, their requirements, so that when I can submit the file, it gets reviewed, and there's very, very minimum conditions, if any, from the city. Because so once I submit it to the city, it does take about a week for them to review it, and then they give me back what I need. Once I've satisfied everything that the city requires, then they request a check. And the check could take about uh, a week and a half to get, and then we can close. So it does take about 45 days.
So when you say check, somebody writes a check to the city, or what does that mean?
The check from the city, which would be their funds, like the 115. Once we've satisfied all their conditions, then they have escrow send title to pick up the check so we can fund our first loan. And
Wow.
once title has their money, then we're okay to fund our loan, and the loan is funded and recorded.
Does the city require their own inspection or their own appraisal?
I have to send a copy of my appraisal to them.
But they
Now,
don't.
when it's on the MIPA program, all they require is for the borrower or for me to send them a receipt that the borrower has paid for a home inspection.
Okay. So they don't do their own inspection. They don't do their own appraisal. They're relying on the appraisal done by the conventional or FHA first lender,
Mhm.
which is you, and the
Yes,
home inspection done by the buyer, which is done separately by the buyer.
yes, yes.
Wow.
On the low income, they do go and check the property. But on the MIPA, on the medium, they just rely on the borrower doing their own inspection.
So you as a loan officer, when you pre-approve a customer, do you indicate low income or moderate income MIPA program on your pre-approval?
Oh, yes, yes,
So you're underwriting them to this criteria ahead of time.
yes, yes, because I've already looked at the income limit. I've already looked at the whole aspect of the loan before I give you a pre-approval letter.
And this is why I was excited to talk to you. I appreciate you on my transaction, number one, and number two, to share with my team members because, like I said, I get a lot of people who talk about this program. It sounds really exciting, but very few really know the details. And if you know the details, not only can you deliver, you can also, share with the customer, with the buyer, in a way that gets them confident to move forward. Because if you're not confident, the agent's not confident, the agent's not confident, the buyer's not confident, the buyer's not confident, they're not going to close, right?
No,
Okay.
exactly.
That's
And I
fantastic.
do, when I do talk to the borrowers also, I tell them, this is going to be, I'm going to be requesting a lot of documents that on a regular loan, I wouldn't be asking, but for this one, everything has to be, and you have to comply. You have to be willing to do the extra work. Usually when my selling agent sends out the offer to you, like for example, I reached out to you and I introduced myself to you because I know that the listing agents, a lot of them are not familiar with the program. So I try to call them to make them at ease, that for them to be confident that I'm going to be closing this loan.
You did. You called me before I was ready to call you. Normally, I don't want to call until I know we're considering the offer and we had some things to do. But you called me right away, and I think I tell all loan officers you need to be calling listing agents. Number one, to help sell your buyer to get it accepted, and number two, who else do you want to talk to for business but the listing agents? I may not use you for my buyers, but I've got buyers agents and I have listings where it spin off these buyers all the time. And I'd love to thank you for doing the one we're doing together with some other business. So I really appreciate your professionalism in reaching out to me as well. And it really impressed me from the very beginning.
Thank you.
So Mercedes, I have your phone number because you and I chatted 818-335-2926. Is that the best number to reach you at?
That is my cell phone number, and I am available. Saturdays, Sundays, I'm available. You'll find that you will call me. If I don't answer, usually it's because I'm with a client, but I am very good at calling you back.
You are. You're old school. You're like me. This is like back when people got in real estate because they had to work hard and they understood that. So, and then Mercedes M at Equity. I typoed that one. EquitySmartLoans.com. And
Yes.
I need to correct that. Equity EQ. Okay, I had a typo in your email. And I'll put a link also to the City of LA website with those details. Mercedes, thank you so much for being on our call today, and I look forward to working with you on this transaction and hopefully in the future.
Thank you. Thank you.